Sometimes like all you want to do is run. Hear me out.
Good morning. Good morning. Hey, it's Charlie with Born to Retire. And it is a cold, cold morning here on the 21st of January, 2025. I've got my coffee cup of the day, my Welcome to Fabulous Las Vegas, Nevada coffee cup. I'm not a real fan of Las Vegas, but went there a couple of years ago and got my eyes wide open about what Las Vegas is really about. First time I'd ever been there. It is a cold, cold morning here in southern Illinois. It is 0 right now, 0 degrees. And I am in my basement keeping nice and warm. I've got my space heater down here to the side. You can't see that, but I'm trying to stay as warm as possible. Got my coffee cup, and I'm going to kick off the day with a review, or I'm going to call it a reaction I'm going to do to something I found very interesting on YouTube yesterday. And it was a video put out by Business Insider, and I'll put a link to it in the description below. But I want to play it and react to it. It is it's a video. It's entitled Money Lessons from Older Americans Who Learned the Hard Way. And it's really a letter from retirees that they'd write their younger selves. What would they tell them? What would they tell their younger self is what the video is about. It's really interesting. So I'm going to play it, kind of watch it, kind of react to it. And it makes you think about, which I know all of us do, you think about what would you have done differently? If you had a mulligan and you could do things over, what would you do differently? And this is a collection of people in a video that talk about that in the form of a letter they were asked to write their younger self, which they could really give to maybe a grandchild or a grandson or daughter or son or whoever, somebody younger, to impart their wisdom in the form of a letter. So let me play it here and I'll react to it as we go through. It's really interesting to hear some of the things. So a lot of it's predictable, the things that people say that you'll hear throughout this. Some of it's interesting. Some of it's sad. Some of it's good, but let's watch it here together. If I can pull it up, let's get it pulled up here. Excuse me. Here we go. You should see it now. Let's play it. Hopefully the audio works.
Dear younger self, that's how you want me to start?
Which part? The beginning?
Okay.
No, read this first and then skip to that.
Dear younger self,
Dear younger self,
The wife there
Dear
had to-
younger self.
the wife
make
there had to
sure
tell
you
the
are
husband.
paid what you're worth.
She had to tell the husband what to do.
Save
there.
for retirement as
All the
much as
predictable stuff.
possible.
Save
Don't
as much
cash
as
out
possible.
all your 401k at once.
I only have about
So there's a good one right off the bat. So this is the intro to it, but already don't cash out your 401k at once. That's pretty wise stuff. I don't know about you, but when I was younger, and especially when we wanted to get a house, my wife and I wanted to get a house, the temptation to dip into your 401k was huge. And I had the ability, who I worked for at the time, you could take a loan and then repay it, your 401k. And I actually did that. But, I've heard of people just, like dump their 401k, take the hit, take the, the tax hit on it and use that because they had to get a home or for other reasons, health reasons. So I can relate to that.
3 months worth of bill payments in my savings account.
We make
Wait,
very
did she say
Cash
there?
out all your 401k at once.
I only have about 3 months worth of bill payments in my savings account.
So that was interesting, right? So she's saying only keep 3 months of money easily accessible just to pay your bills. I'm assuming, and she may talk about it later here in the video, that if you have more than you really need, then you're likely to spend it on things you probably shouldn't be spending on it. I think is probably the assumption there.
we make very little on Social Security.
You don't make
I still
very
have
much
to
Social
work
Security.
to pay my bills.
She still has to work.
I'm
just to keep
worried
to pay
that
bills.
my investments won't last me.
I don't have any retirement funds put away at all.
Wow, 77 years old.
Okay. Are you ready now?
Dear younger self,
Open up a Roth IRA and learn how to invest.
Absolutely.
Don't pile up debt.
I would tell
Absolutely.
myself
That's
to
all obvious
hold
stuff,
on to
right?
my investment portfolio.
Save more and give less.
Your home is one of your biggest assets. Protect it.
Hi, my name's
Right on.
Aidan Booth. Have you
I like
ever
doing these
wondered
ads
if you
through
could
it, huh?
build a
All
business
right.
selling
I did not pay
weird-looking
for it.
random
The
items
extra
online?
level of YouTube.
After I retired, I cashed out my entire 401k, deposited $110,000 for a down payment on the house. I also paid a 45% income tax bill by taking all the money at once.
I opened a Roth IRA.
So people don't think about that, right? I know people that have done that. They take money out of their 401k, not realizing that's going to count as income, and they're going to take a huge tax hit that year. Take a huge tax hit because they didn't really think ahead or didn't really think it through, and they take a huge hit because of that. Until I think you get to age 59 and a half, or you can do it younger than that. I had a friend of mine tell me you could actually start taking from your IRA earlier, but you have to jump through these tax hoops to be able to do it. But anyway, that's what she's referring to there is, boy, you take money out, not only you're kind of double hitting yourself, right? Not only are you going to take a huge tax hit, that money you would have left in the 401k misses out on the growth opportunity of being in the market.
IRA when I was 54 finally, and I put $6,000 in it and let it sit there because I didn't know that you were supposed to invest it.
I think if I were to just leave my money alone, not move it around, then it would be worth a lot more today.
A financial advisor explained to me that I had to invest it, and I did, and now it's over $41,000.
I would definitely advise younger people to put a maximum amount in their 401k or IRA match because that money grows over time.
Just imagine if I had knew how to do that and when I was 25 instead of 55.
Just think what they said there, both of them. God, if I had known that when I was 25 instead of 55, how much of a difference that would have made for them.
It would be quite a bit more.
It's way, way better if you plan something way ahead of time than wait till the end like we have.
So yeah, if you wait till the end, as we all know, that you've missed out on all that compounding interest all those years. So you're really against the 8 ball when you get into your 50s and their 60s.
Up we go. There you go. There you go. There you go. This is where he likes to sit. We didn't realize that Social Security would be so little.
Most of my debt has accumulated with things beyond my control.
You know, that's interesting what the lady said before him, that didn't realize Social Security would be so little. So think about that. Did you, when you were younger, assume Social Security was going to take care of everything for you? Did you check it? Did you log in and create an account with Social Security Social Security Administration to watch it? Because gosh, if you did, I didn't create my Social Security account to start looking at my projected Social Security at 62 and every year till 70 until I was in my late 50s, until just a few years ago. I never looked at it. I never thought about it because frankly, I kind of assumed after Clinton got into the administration, I remember him talking about the lockbox and how it was you got to refill the lockbox. You broke open and got into it. I just assumed I wouldn't have Social Security, so I didn't get into it. But I wonder if that's a lesson to teach somebody: get into your Social Security account earlier, see how much you're going to get, and see how little it's really going to be, so you can be more appropriately planned when you get to be Social Security age.
It's not like we go to Vegas and have a great time and run our credit card up, but we've always needed them as well when we fell on hard times.
I missed one payment on the credit card, and it just ballooned. Within 6 months, it completely doubled.
The Federal Housing Administration gave us a loan. The interest rate back then was 13 3/4, and it just grew so fast. Eventually, our loan was so big we couldn't manage it, and we ended up moving off of the farm.
Now we've had to go into thousands of dollars of credit card debt to pay our bills. We don't have a savings account anymore, and our credit scores are tank.
Yeah.
Okay.
Will it go off if I put it on airplane mode? Will it ding ding? I've learned that in matters of finance,
Looking through
you
a
have to
yearbook.
make decisions without being overly emotional.
I don't even drive by my old farm. It's really a very negative part of my life when I see what we could have had.
I have always
Regrets.
offered financial help to friends to help them get through a difficult time, not realizing I was less fortunate too.
When you get to our age, it's a little late in the game to try to fix it because the damage is already done. So if you're young and you're working, don't be afraid to put back an extra $20 a week or
Just
whatever,
anything.
and don't
Put
touch it.
anything back. Forget you did it.
I'm currently an over-the-road trucker. My current financial situation is probably the reason I keep trucking at my age.
So he's 77 and he's still driving a truck at 77 years old. Wow.
I haven't seen too many 80-year-olds out there.
It's okay to care about people. However, you have to look at what it is costing you mentally and financially. You only have so many years to prepare for retirement.
Have you heard of turtle traders?
Oh,
They were a
you
group of
YouTube ads.
14
You
novice
YouTube
traders
ads.
who were
Dear younger self,
Prioritize your health to avoid financial and physical hardships.
Be prepared for unexpected expenses.
Things change, circumstances change.
I didn't plan on pancreatic cancer at the age of 62.
Oh, wow.
But even with good insurance, chemo, surgery, radiation, and a second round of treatment when the cancer came back caused me to meet my annual $2,500 out-of-pocket maximum for the past 3 years.
My wife had her heart issue. Her income changed immediately.
My jobs were physically taxing, and I feel that contributed to some of the medical conditions. On a scale of 1 to 10, my health is probably a 6.
She was making over $50,000 a year plus benefits, and suddenly she couldn't work.
My savings have been spent on medical bills. I only have enough left to cover my bills for a few months.
So you really don't think about, I didn't. I can remember younger, you just, you thought you were invincible. And then as you get into, in my late 50s now, it's starting to catch up with me, right? So I had to go out and shovel snow, and I've got a blade on my side-by-side to shovel, but to scoop the snow on the sidewalk, it's not as easy as it used to be. And I'm still pretty young. I'm not even 59 yet, but it's like, wow, what's it going to be like when I'm 69 or 70?
I can no longer work, so I survive on disability benefits. I can't afford any financial missteps.
I don't know if I can retire anytime soon.
Wow.
Depends on if my health holds up. Dear younger self,
don't retire early.
Continue working as long as you can.
I just wish I could have worked longer. It really would have helped us.
I lost my job. I was sort of forced into retirement.
When I was 58, I had more than $500,000 saved for retirement. I turned in my retirement paperwork. What a mistake that was.
You sit around and get bored.
Wish
and
they'd worked longer.
Retirement's boring. It really is.
I have
But how much of that's a function of they just got tired of work and they retired and discovered they didn't have enough money, because of the hardships that they mentioned earlier. So now they're like, wow, I should have worked longer. I didn't realize it was going to be like this.
no desire just to lay on the couch and eat brownies every day. And I just think I have to stay active and do something.
All of a sudden, I had no important decisions to make and no social network anymore.
I went from hoping I live a really long time to being worried that I will outlive my savings.
Yeah.
It's not a great way to feel.
I tried to return to part-time work recently. No one's hiring, or if they are, they're not looking for people my age.
It's challenging to get a job when you're in your 60s.
I don't know if it's my age, but I rarely ever hear back from anybody.
I tried my best to look as young as possible.
I don't feel very marketable at this point.
Honestly, I think they really don't want an old guy who's going to have to take a day off to go to the doctor.
I had a college degree and great office skills, but employers wanted a cute 20-something at the front desk.
So think about that. I posted a video yesterday from Rick Edelman who talked about how retirement is really just an invention that, a very affluent country could invent, the idea that you could retire and not have to work for another 20 or 30 years after that. And here these people are saying that they not only they needed to work, but now that they need to work, they can't find a job. So, and I get it. I can see that. I know people that, they get to retirement, and then once you're out of the game, they want somebody younger, cheaper, more malleable maybe. But there's, I have to believe there's jobs out there for folks in their 60s, but they're probably not exactly, unless you've got networking and connections and in that industry. Or maybe you don't want to step back into that stressful role you had. I did another video on types of stress. and the burnout it causes. And do you want to return to that in your 60s?
I mean, for the most part, even as sick as I am, I could probably outwork anybody in this neighborhood.
In February 2023, I finally started a full-time job with the state agency employer who was willing to give me a chance. I was 63.
I got my first freelance writing gig last week, so there's a new chapter to write, just when I thought it was time for the epilogue.
I'm also doing polymer clay sculptures. When I get stressed out, that's what I do. If I sell it, I feel even better.
You're good at
I'm
it.
good. Well, thank you. I'm good at it, I
Something you like,
guess.
maybe.
I'm working on becoming a content creator. I want to give opinions on various things in society, also traveling, camping,
That's good.
that
That's
kind
cool.
of thing.
I am happy right now because I have a great job. People say they have to go to work. I say I
Yes,
get to go to work.
Don't retire.
Don't retire. Work as long as you can.
No, I would do
really.
it in a New York minute, man. I'd go back to work.
So that's really interesting, right? So, and I follow a lot of folks on YouTube in retirement, and I really like to learn from them. I mentioned this in many videos about because I don't want to repeat mistakes, and I want to step on landmines. So who better to listen to than people who are already there, who are what I call in the promised land? And I think this is really what they're saying is work as long as you can. That's indicative of the life experience they've had and the situation they found themselves in. So the paradigm they created. There's other people who maybe they're just it depends on your life situation. Everybody talks about that, how maybe in your family that you're just not going to be around that long. You just know it. You just know it. You've got the genetics from your family, or maybe you've got some health issue and that you've got a limited amount of time left. Maybe it's my family's genetically predisposed with heart issues. And of course that's changed a lot since my dad had bypass surgery 30 years ago. But to me, that's a limiting factor that I know, I'll probably live into my 70s some point. Or, I do the mortality expectation tables and I answer the questions and it shows maybe 81. But there's other people I know, if they take that, my wife would take it and hers would be in her mid 70s. So do you want to work with the limited amount of time you have left? Or do you want to try to enjoy it the best way you can? And that's all a function of how much you're really prepared for it. Or are you just willing to do whatever you can? I don't want to work full time. I can step back to part time and do what I can just to enjoy the time I've got left. These folks, it sounds like they're not in bad shape. They just wish they had saved more. So now they know, I think, a combination of they need to work again to bring in money. But I think they're also indicating they're just bored stiff, which to me is a whole nother topic. To be bored in retirement, maybe that's cool. If you just want to sit down, veg out, hey, that's cool if that's what you want to do. For me, I can't imagine with my mind being bored in retirement. There's so many things I want to do. And I bet everybody says that too. It's like, when I retire, I'm going to do this, this, and this. I really do. There's things I want to get done, and hopefully I'll be in a position to do those. But I don't want to be in the position where I have to work, number one, and number two, get up every morning and say, I got nothing to do today. That's no fun.
And love every minute of it.
So you say, dear younger self, pursue a career you're passionate about.
Dear younger self, don't wait to embrace change.
Dear younger self, pursue a career that you're passionate about.
Find a passion, even if it's just a hobby.
When I was younger, I also knew deep down that my teaching career didn't suit me.
Hey there, IT legends. It is
YouTube, I'm
me,
not gonna
Tom, the
pay
IT guy.
to skip
And you know,
ads. You
ever
drive
since
me
I got
crazy.
my entire IT
I was a self-taught musician. In my early career, I was playing clubs, bringing home $150 to $200 a week, and that was back in the early to mid-'70s.
I started playing guitar when I was about
That's
11
cool.
years old.
Instead of jumping ship then, I dug in and pursued a higher degree in the same field, thinking the promotion would make up for the lack of personal satisfaction.
I moved away from music and got into jobs that offered a regular paycheck.
When I became a
he did whatever a lot
librarian-
of people do, right? He needed the money to support his family, so he gave up his passion because the money for it, he either just didn't see it or for whatever reason, He just knew the money wasn't going to be there. And so he did something he didn't want to do, like a lot of people do. That's what I did. I didn't want to really do what I didn't do for a career, but you got to do what you got to do to put food on the table. Doesn't mean you don't approach that job with passion and do the best you can, but is that really how you want to spend your time on this third planet from the sun and live it that way?
I did take a pay cut from my teaching career, but it was well worth it to me because I loved going to work so much every day.
My biggest regret is not having followed through
There you go.
with my music. I still love it. I just can't do it as well as I used to, but I still love it. That part will never
It's really
die.
strange. So when I hear him say that, I think about, so I've got several kids, and my youngest one's now a graduate student at a university. And, and I've watched what she's decided to major in. And, you got to let your kids make their decisions, but hopefully they make them based on some sound foundations that you gave them. And, you want to see your kids. I want to have a doctor. It would be cool if your son was a doctor or a lawyer, daughter was a doctor or a lawyer or whatever. And, but whatever it is, I've told my kids, just if you really enjoy what you're doing, then you'll find a way to make it work. And that's much more important. If law is your passion, great. Being a doctor's your passion, that's great. If it's something else, that's great too. As long as you really love it, you'll find a way to make it work. And that's much more important in life, to look back and feel fulfilled. I heard somebody say a long time ago, it's like the ideal situation is to make your occupation your avocation, and your avocation your occupation. So what you really love, make that your work. And I think it's really valuable advice.
You're playing and singing, and it just makes you feel good in general. And my wife likes to hear me sing, and I guess that's the reason I do it.
Nice fireplace.
Walk through this
I wish I could play guitar. I can play a little bit, not much.
The one thing I think both Steve and I did right was we made sure that we took care of our parents.
I didn't count on that either with mine.
One thing I know I did right was staying connected with people.
Stay connected with people.
My financial choices allowed me to raise and support my children while teaching them to be independent and socially responsible.
Unexpected changes make living in the moment a good skill to have, and I'm always ready to shift gears when needed.
I live on my farmland. I am fortunate to own the land and live mortgage-free.
I take it one day at a time. I'm thankful I made it through the day and get up the next day and do it again.
My greatest accomplishment is having 3 beautiful daughters who are educated, caring, and productive members of society. That is worth more than all the money in the world.
Mostly we just want to get somewhere where at least there's community, where people seem to care for each other.
I can't waste time looking back at what might have been.
Sure.
My choices, good or bad, are
Sure,
my
there's nobody else with
responsibility.
the problem.
Somewhere
You made it.
along the way, I learned to approach life with curiosity instead of despair. And that's when everything became adventure instead of trepidation. That's when life got really good. I hope you start earlier than I did. But first, open up that Roth IRA. Love, your much
fantastic.
older self.
That's
Nancy
fantastic.
Seeger.
I love your voice.
Oh, thanks. All that reading to kids. No.
Okay.
That's really good. So I thought it was a really good video. A lot of it stuff comes intuitively, but the idea is, what would you tell your younger self if you wrote a letter to themselves? And I think about, as they were talking about that, realistically, how many kids in their 20s or younger, teens, are really going to listen to all that? I can remember being told all that when I was younger, and I did the best I could and saved and tried to enjoy life. But, for me, it's like I didn't follow my passions the way I really wanted to, and that's what I'm really looking forward to doing in retirement. But what would you tell your younger self? If you wrote a letter to your younger self and you wanted your younger self to know something, what would it be? Put it in the comments. Put it in the comments and share it. Have a great day. Enjoyed sharing